Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce Chairman of the English-Speaking Union of the United States, Ambassador Paul Beresford Hill.
Thank you. Thank you very much indeed, Josh. I would like to begin, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests and dear friends of the English-Speaking Union. I welcome you to the 101st Annual General Meeting Conference of the English-Speaking Union of the United States. I'm going to begin today's event, however, on a rather sad note, and I'm going to ask for your prayers and your support for the family of Sir David Amess, British Member of Parliament who was murdered this morning in his constituency in Southend West. Politicians of all stripes from around the UK and indeed from around the world are expressing their sympathies. And he was a man of great faith. He was a gifted politician. He was a humanitarian. And I think he was a very, very great advocate of the values that we uphold in the English-Speaking Union in terms of our commitment to a better world. So on that rather sad note, I will, however, begin, and I'll start by reminding us of our theme for this conference. It is a union for all seasons. A very, very apt conference title, and an exciting one because we have a great deal of information, news, views, ideas, concepts, everything to share with all of us, including workshops, lectures, panel discussions, and working breakout sessions. And during the course of this conference, we will draw lessons from the ESU's past, and at the same time, without dwelling too much on the past, look forward to a future and to another centenary 100 years hence. We have a lot to learn from the ESU's past, not just because it is long, a full century, but because it has also been blessed with some extraordinary individuals who have guided the ESU, both the ESU of the Commonwealth and the ESU of the United States, through extraordinary times. The first such individual, obviously, who comes to mind is the journalist and the ardent internationalist, Sir Evelyn Wrench. I love that portrait that we have hanging in the entry area of the ESU in New York. People said that Sir Evelyn Wrench was a very shy, rather retiring individual. He certainly had loads of vision and loads of energy to put that vision into perspective and into reality. But at the same time, people often said that he wasn't an easy conversationalist, and he maybe sometimes thought a little too much. If you look at that portrait, however, you'll see a slightly different Evelyn Wrench from the one I've just described. You'll see somebody who's a bit mischievous. He certainly has that kind of rather cheeky look to him in the portrait, which bespeaks somebody who not only has all those wonderful qualities of vision and drive, but also who perhaps doesn't take himself or the world sometimes too seriously. He founded the ESU of the Commonwealth in the UK in 1918, and 2 years later in 1920, he founded the English-speaking Union of the United States. And since then, our organizations have been drawing together in bonds of comradeship for all peoples throughout the world through our common English language. Our links extend far beyond the shores of the United States and Europe through the many international ESUs, and we are truly a global international organization that has a solid objective and vision behind its work, which is to draw together in the bonds of friendship and common experience and a desire for peace and fellowship, all peoples throughout the world. The endurance of the ESU over 100 years is a testament to the power of Evelyn Wrench's vision, and his vision has inspired a long line of leaders on both sides of the Atlantic who have left their mark on the world and on the English-speaking Union. Beginning with President Howard Taft, Sir Winston Churchill, President Dwight Eisenhower, Lady Margaret Thatcher. These are instantly recognizable names of world leaders who have shaped our lives and who have put their imprint on our two organizations in more ways than one. And we have set aside time in our conference to delve into their contributions to the ESU and to the world. During a separate panel discussion later today, I will join the Honorable Pat Schroeder, former chair of the English-speaking Union of the US, Professor James Raven, former chair, and Miles Young, current chair of the ESU of the Commonwealth, to talk about the challenges that we faced and the opportunities that we've seized as we have led our two organizations together. But a long line of individuals, educators, businessmen, philanthropists, have also played a major role in advancing the ESU's mission to promote communication and open exchange of ideas among the world's speakers of English. During our conference, we regrettably will not have time to have separate presentations on all of them, but they will appear in the ESU's History Timeline, a newly created website that tells the story of the ESU of the United States since its founding in 1920. Our ESU staff have spent months researching and curating historical information, images, and videos, and have stored the most important pieces on this website, which will be formally unveiled during the annual general meeting on Sunday, October 17th. However, I would like at this moment to mention a few individuals who have been so important in our cause. Their ideas, their leadership, their foresight and dedication has been the epitome of everything the ESU is about. They have synthesized the energy, the determination, the inspiration of our entire membership to drive our organization forward. Some of them conceived and launched innovative educational and cultural exchange programs. Some have provided generous support to our organization, and many of them, motivated by their own experience, have worked very hard and very diligently in the ESU's educational programming. The ESU Chairman Emeritus, the late William R. Miller, CBE, was inspired by the famed Churchill Lectures in Great Britain to create the prominent ESU Thatcher Lecture Series, with Lady Margaret Thatcher herself delivering the inaugural address in 1999. This program elevated the ESU's profile in the international business community and positioned the organization for considerable growth. In this endeavor, he relied on the skills and the diplomacy of two prominent ESU patrons, Natalie Prey and Elizabeth de Forest Scott, whom he acknowledged as being pivotal in the program's realization. And since that time, Mrs. Prey and Mrs. Scott have continued to be among the ESU's most generous and active supporters. Dr. Andrew Romay, a refugee from Hungary after World War II, created and funded a scholarship program that now helps hundreds of new immigrants every year to master the English language, to pursue fulfilling careers, and to build successful lives in the United States. Thanks to Dr. Romay's vision and his generosity, the Andrew Romay New Immigrant Center at the English-Speaking Union is a true home for new immigrants, a place to learn English, but also a welcoming and a tolerant community that is supportive, that is inclusive, and that is open-minded. We should also mention the foresight of such benefactors as Lucie Delbrite-Loard, whose bequest in the late 1960s launched the Loard Scholarship that sends students from historically Black colleges and universities in the United States to study in the United Kingdom. Mrs. Jessie Dray from Central Florida 25 years ago created the Jessie Dray Endowment that funds educational opportunities for students, educators, and others in the Central Florida branch. And more recently, Mr. Donald Best, who in 2019 made a major gift to endow the ESU Evelyn Wrench lecture series. Such gifts have been pivotal in ensuring the continuation of key ESU programs and have enhanced our organization's stability and our prestige. The influence and the impact of such modern-day trailblazers among us has inevitably drawn the attention of our friends in the UK and in the international community. To commemorate the centennial of the English-Speaking Union of the United States in 2020, upon the recommendation of Her Royal Highness, the Princess Royal, the British Cabinet approved and authorized the establishment of the Princess Royal Award, an international award to recognize significant contributions to the English-Speaking Union in its wider global setting. 6 inaugural honorees of the Princess Royal Award were honored at the gala last October for their role in advancing the ESU's mission. Among them were the already mentioned Mrs. Elizabeth Scott, Mr. Donald Best, and posthumously, Bill Miller. Another honoree was financier Dr. Lawrence Morse, who has credited to a large degree his experience as an ESU Loard Scholar at the London School of Economics between 1971 and 72 for his successful career on Wall Street. In appreciation for the unique opportunity as a Loard Scholar, he became closely involved in the ESU, including being a member of the National Board of Directors from 2003 to 2009. And in 2009, on the 40th anniversary of the program, he made a major gift and led a fundraising campaign to strengthen our endowment. In gratitude for his generous support of the ESU Loard Scholarship Program by a resolution of our Board of Directors in September 2012, it was renamed the ESU Loard Morse Scholarship Program. ESU President Dr. Quinn Pieper was also among the first Princess Royal Award recipients, recognized for his decades-long leadership and philanthropy at the English-Speaking Union. And in addition to benefiting from his generous annual donations and several major five-figure gifts, the ESU has enjoyed on many occasions his talent as a classically trained pianist who has performed in concerts around the world, including twice at New York's Carnegie Hall. And we will have the opportunity to again enjoy his beautiful music on Sunday, when he and Mr. Michael Harold will perform for us pieces by Mozart and Chopin. I know I speak for all of us when I say that we are humbled by the recognition of the Princess Royal Award and the knowledge that we are following in the footsteps of those who have built this organization. We carry the responsibility to stay true to our mission, but we also need to stay true to the ESU's culture and to our traditions, which have so wisely relied on our membership having a strong interest and voice in the future of our union. And that's why when we talk about those who have shaped the ESU, we should not overlook the many, many individual contributions of our branch leaders and our members on the ground who have given of themselves, of their time, of their talent, and of their own vision to make our organization endure. The ESU programs at the national level, the National Shakespeare Competition, the Evelyn Wrench Speaker Series, our educational program for new immigrants and English language learners, the scholarship, the cultural exchange programs for students and teachers, all have gathered great international attention and many, many accolades. But during the past 100 years, some of the most exciting and impactful work has been done at the branch level by our membership. Social gatherings, educational programs, from tea parties to black tie dinners, international visits and exchanges, lectures and seminars, nabbing celebrated Brit who happens to be passing through and getting them to do something with a group of like-minded Americans. These are the things which have made the English-speaking union so important in so many people's lives. All these activities spontaneously brought people together. They have strengthened the social fabric of our communities and have built bridges across cultures through our shared language. This is the true essence of the English-speaking union. Our branches have led philanthropic efforts in their local communities, raising thousands of dollars annually to support programs and exchanges with our friends in the UK and across the world. The past 2 years have posed extraordinary challenges to this essence. The COVID-imposed isolation is antithetical to the English-speaking union spirit, since the ESU's mission is grounded in human interaction, in people meeting each other face to face and across borders. And the future of our educational and cultural exchange programs at the national and the branch level was actually in great danger at that moment in time when COVID-19 hit our shores. And yet, through the dedication and ingenuity of our members and our staff, a number of innovations and initiatives allowed our work not only to continue, but actually to flourish. From the virtual National Shakespeare Competition to online happy hour, Evelyn Wrench lecture series, to remote English classes and conversations with our immigrant students, the ESU of the United States continued to pursue its mission of expanding minds, strengthening friendships, and unlocking opportunities through the use of the English language. This is a leadership at its best. And I am proud of what we as an organization have accomplished and have achieved despite adversity. Dear friends, this annual general conference of the ESU is particularly poignant for me because it will be my last as chairman of the English-speaking Union of the US. I will step down now after having completed my full term, and I'll pass the baton to a newly elected chairman. And that is why this sense of profound satisfaction at the ESU's success is so welcome and rewarding to me personally. I will look back on these past 6 years with a sense of wonder, a great deal of gratitude, and joy for this wonderful, unique experience that I was offered. My involvement with the ESU started fairly a number of years ago. As a young British teacher, I was teaching in a comprehensive school in Milton Keynes, a town about 50 miles north of London, and ready for a challenge, ready to do something new, as young people so often accept in their lives. I thought I should go to America and try and see whether America was everything it was cooked up to be. So I applied for a teaching job in New York. The school where I was going to be teaching, the headmaster was very Anglophile, and he was frequently in London. And I got a call asking me to come for interview in London. I was very impressed with the address. Dartmouth House, King Charles Street, no less, London. Ah, I thought I'd hit the big time. I thought I'd hit the big time. Well, I had my interview and was suitably awed by Dartmouth House and the English-speaking Union, of which I was given a very comprehensive introduction by my headmaster, who was a very active member of the New York branch at the time. And of course, when I arrived in New York in 1974, the English-speaking Union was one of the first organizations that I joined. And it wasn't just because they did a wonderful afternoon tea, which I had been told rivaled anything that they would serve at the Ritz in London. And it was true. It was a very, very good afternoon tea in those days. My wife and I, when we married on April 11th, 1976, we decided to hold our wedding reception at the English-speaking Union. It was the most wonderful day of my life. And I vividly remember on the steps of the main reception room, under the portrait of Winston Churchill, my wife and I cutting our wedding cake. And it was a truly, truly wonderful, wonderful occasion, which still gives me great wonder and happiness to think about. Through my involvement in the English-speaking Union as headmaster of the Anglo-American International School in New York, I was asked to do some projects for a cultural event that was happening in 1984. It was called Britain Salutes New York. Those of you who remember New York at the time, I can't remember the headline of the newspaper, but somebody said, you know, New York dropped dead when New York was being denied funding from somewhere. But New York was going through some tough times. And our British friends agreed to bring some English culture, some English fun, and some English enjoyment to New York. And so Britain Salutes New York sprang into action. And I was lucky enough to be asked to come up with a project, something that we could add to the competition, but something which emanated from New York, not necessarily imported from England. So I developed the Shakespeare Competition idea. And we held our first competition as part of Britain Salutes New York. We held the award at the English Speaking Union. And when people asked me afterwards if we were going to continue the Shakespeare competition, because it had been very successful among the schools in New York that had participated, it seemed only natural that the English Speaking Union would be the place where it would find a home and where it would thrive and flourish, as indeed it has done, something for which I am personally very, very grateful. When I was elected chairman in 2015, I took on this assignment as a great honor and a responsibility. The organization is venerable. The organization is prominent. The organization is important. And leading it into the next century was something that I felt was a tremendous opportunity and a tremendous privilege. I'll talk more about my experiences leading the organization during the panel discussion later today, but here I would like to just mention two important moments during my tenure, things that have given me enormous pride. One of them was when we were granted special consultative status as an NGO within the United Nations. This occurred in March 2020. The ESU of the Commonwealth had previously enjoyed such status, but it had fallen into abeyance. And we were told the best way to secure it again would be to start from scratch, which we did. And it was granted in March last year. And this is the ultimate recognition of our organization as an international organization that has international impact and international relevance. The status gives us access to all of the UN bodies that are open to NGOs, including the General Assembly and the Human Rights Council, and allows us to engage further with our partners across the world. And hopefully this afternoon, I will say a little bit more about my own particular vision for how I hope this initiative will develop in the years ahead. And the second moment, of course, was when the Princess Royal agreed to personally bestow the newly inaugurated Princess Royal Awards at our annual general meeting last year. COVID interfered with our plans. Her Royal Highness was unable to travel to be with us. She delivered her remarks via video, but she promised that she would come back as soon as the borders were open. And Her Royal Highness is a woman who keeps her promises. I'm pleased to announce that she will be here in New York on January the 12th, 2022, at a special gala, which we're organizing in New York City. And you are all invited to join Princess Anne and all of us at this January 12th celebration. So please mark your calendars. It will be our first in-person major gathering since the pandemic began, but more significantly, it will be an expression and a celebration of the ESU's importance as a transatlantic organization with links throughout the world. So I look forward to seeing you in person on January the 12th. And now officially, I declare open the 101st Annual General Conference of the English-Speaking Union of the United States. Congratulations, ESU.
Thank you, Dr. Paul. I would now like to ask that Julia Churchill Vanderwater, Chair of Regional Reps and ESU National Board Member, to come on screen. Hi, Julia.
Josh. Well, what a wonderful talk, Dr. Beresford-Hill. That was just phenomenal. Thank you so much for your explanation of so many things and making us feel a part of this organization. Much appreciated. I wish you all good afternoon and welcome. I'm Julia Vanderwater, the chair of the regional representatives, and we are going to be going into regional meetings in a few minutes, and I'm going to introduce the other folks who are with me today. I wanted to tell you that the current regional representatives model incorporates some changes that was to the previous regional chair system. During the 2017 AGM in Louisville, the bylaws of the English ESU National Organization were amended to remove the regional chair position from the bylaws. Previously, those chairs were elected as full board members and had all the responsibilities of members of the board, including the financial responsibilities of board giving, networking to build the organization's fundraising and reputational standing, and more. The current role of the 8 regional representatives is concerned primarily with branch well-being and growth. Representatives are creating a support network between branches with the services of the national headquarters to achieve healthier, more vibrant branches. While regional representatives do not hold positions on the National Board of Directors, their work is reported to the board via the chair of the regional representatives, who is a board member and is the conduit who provides updates and reports on the works of the representatives. And I see that we are, Josh, can we move Lawrence down a little bit larger? I see he's there. Lawrence, would you unmute? And that's great. So it's my pleasure to not only work with these wonderful individuals, but also to introduce several of them. On the upper right, it's your upper right, is Linda McIntosh, who is Region 1 representative. Lawrence Hollingsworth, who's below her, is Region 2. Susan Nelson, unavoidably, is not able to attend today. Their group will be coming in with Region 4, for which I serve as regional representative. Barbara Hughes is in the middle and the bottom, and she is with Region 5. She always has wonderful backgrounds of the season. We appreciate that. Bill Kennedy, I thought he would be here, but maybe he will be calling in later. Dave Grissett, who's in the center and the top, is the regional representative for Region 7. And Michael Thornton on the lower left is the Region 8 representative. We're also fortunate to have Joshua Keppel-Gonzalez, who's the Director of Branch Services at the National Organization, as a member of this team. This group, which meets regularly via Zoom, identified the topics for the breakout sessions during this ESU virtual conference. And I would like to just outline a few things so that in case you haven't found them on the website or no one has told you about it. Saturday during session 1, beginning at noon, Dave and I will introduce discussion on membership, recruitment, renewal, and reclamation. Session 2A, starting at 1 o'clock on Saturday, Alice Uhl and Estefany Reyes, I understand she goes by Stephanie, who is the 2021 TLAB Scholar to Edinburgh, will consider TLAB Travel and Learn programs. Session 2B at 1:25, we'll have Elizabeth Bigelow and Karen Kopperwich from headquarters to update us on the Evelyn Wrench speaker program, and Rosanna Ivanova will share the status of the centennial fundraising of this program. The next set of regional sessions start at 3 p.m. on Sunday, session 2. Betty Trevino-Roth will provide an overview of the National Shakespeare Competition's 2022 format and introduce the National Shakespeare Writing Program to be sponsored by ESU. Again, Rosanna will share the status of the centennial fundraising for this program. And then during session 4, which follows, there will be a collaborative discussion showcase about local programming, speakers, events, and educational initiatives. So the topics for all of these sessions came as a part of the frequent Zoom meetings that this group of regional representatives holds, and comes from their questioning about things that they'd like to know about and wanted your input on. There are a number of other outstanding events during the conference, and Dr. Paul outlined a few of them. So I won't review them again. I'm looking forward to the piano concert with Quinn and Michael. We are going to have today a discussion on Sir Evelyn Wrench's vision. So I would like you to perhaps consult the ESU homepage on the right-hand side, and on the tab on the website, under the tab of news and events, which clearly outlines every one of these events. And so we look forward to your involvement over the next couple of days. So I'd like to thank you for Zooming in. Thank you for your participation and for listening. And Josh is now going to send us to our respective regional meetings. Thank you.